Real rivalry, Imaad, welcome back. Arsenal to Crystal Palace. To me, it looked like Vieira really managed to take this Crystal Palace team to the Emirates and I think outplay Arsenal for large parts of the game. Like, what was your take on it?
Yeah, firstly, I just want to say I'm so glad that we haven't done these series like for the last 3 4 weeks, because I mean I would have been on my high horse after Arsenal beat Spurs 3-1, 3 wins in a row, um, and I would have just been brought back to reality. I mean that just shows that those 3 wins we had in a row just completely papered over the cracks, and
Right.
that win against Spurs. I mean, I said right after that. I mean, because we had a shocking start, 3 defeats.
Mhm.
Then okay, we had those 2 1-0 wins. Okay, we were so shaken by that start. We just had to get some just to get the ball rolling. Had to get a couple of wins. I mean, I would like take those 1-0s all day long. And then you're
Mhm.
thinking, okay, we beat Spurs. We play the best 45 minutes we probably played under Arteta. Like, I mean,
In a long time.
in terms of attacking football, we played some great football under him, like in the FA Cup semi-final and final
Mhm.
against City and Chelsea. But that was more like tactical defending and hitting on the break
Mhm.
to perfection. I've never seen an attacking performance from an Arteta team where we've literally dismantled the team. Like, like it
Like
felt
that,
like
right?
the Wenger days, when teams used to come to the Emirates and you just wouldn't see the ball for 25 30 minutes because
Mhm.
we'd be pressing them, win the ball back, and then quick passing in and around them. And I mean, you're thinking like after that Spurs win, I mean, thinking like, what, like we have to build on this now. I mean,
Mhm.
that win is pointless if we don't go to Brighton and
You'll see
win.
a change. At
Okay,
least you'll see a
we
change
took
from
we
there.
took the point at Brighton. Like some of these positive fans were telling me, Brighton are flying right now, top of the, like almost they would have been top of the league if they would have beaten us.
Mhm.
Way better, like way better organized than us. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's Brighton. I mean, I wanted to go there and get all 3 points. I mean, we're still far better than them on
Mhm.
paper.
Mhm.
Then we go to Palace. I mean, like okay, you take that 0-0 on the chin. We didn't concede another clean sheet. Got absolutely battered, by the way. Had no game
Right.
plan.
Right.
Um, very very lucky to get a point out of that.
Mhm.
Come into Palace thinking, okay, brilliant start, first 10 minutes. We get the opening goal, something we haven't had like a lead to defend. An early lead to, like, and then you really think that the confidence is going to start flowing. You're thinking, oh, this could be two or three, and then what do? We just sit back, get like score the goal, and we're just negative immediately. Just sit back,
Mhm.
let Palace have the ball, and it just wasn't good enough. I mean, you're looking at
Do you think that
Palace. You're
whole
looking at
like
Palace who don't have. You're looking at a Palace side who don't have Zaha, and they
mm,
they bossed us. I mean, in terms of the attacking threat, like we literally sat back and just let them have the ball. And then when we got the ball, it was like we hadn't had the ball in so long that when we got it, we just did not know what to do with it. I mean, there was one point where we were just knocking it back to Ramsdale, and he was just hitting the ball up every single
moving
time. I
it
mean, there was
forward?
no
Yeah.
intent to like get close to the ball and come and play. I mean, I remember towards the end of the game when Martinelli came on, he's got the ball. He's got three Crystal Palace men around him. There are four Arsenal players in the box. No one wants to come to him to receive the ball. The only kind of teamwork you see is when two players play a 1-2. There's never more than two players involved in a team move. We can't
Hmm.
put three passes together. I mean, it literally looks like it's it looks like we haven't. It literally looks like the same Arteta team that took over. Like when we were complaining about these things last year. I mean, you see one decent performance. It's easy to get your players up for a North London derby. I mean,
Derby, exactly what and against a
but
really
what
poor Spurs team. Really
exactly?
poor.
But
Like
what can you do? How, like, these are the games that you need to get your players up for. Brighton away, Palace away. You could not get your players up for those two
Palace
games,
home,
and those
yeah.
are the Palace home. Sorry, yeah. And today, I mean, we needed to win this game, man. Like today, you're looking at the weekend. You're thinking, okay, other teams have dropped points. You're thinking as a fan, like you're counting 3 points, and you're saying where we could be in the table, and it's just like an absolute false sense of like hope that you're getting like from these wins. You get that one win against Spurs, and you think, okay, maybe I could be wrong about Arteta. I mean, I wasn't thinking that. I mean, I was just thinking that I still like knew he wasn't the right man for the job. If he's had big performances in previous big games last season, and we just haven't been able to back it up. I haven't seen anything from him after
This
that
season
to
either,
say
yeah.
that, yeah, to say that we are working. I mean, I saw Vieira's been there fucking 6 weeks, and we already see exactly what he's trying to do with that
Hmm.
Palace team. They're pressing high, they're pressing as a unit, they're attacking in numbers.
Hmm.
Um,
Just better
Arsenal aren't
coached.
doing that.
Yeah, better
Yeah,
coaching.
and you look at the way we set up as well. I mean, we set up today. He played Odegaard and Partey. So extremely attacking lineup. We didn't look like scoring even once. We had four strikers on the pitch at one time, and we just did not look like scoring. So it's not the personnel. This guy that doesn't have any identity in terms of the way he wants his team to play. I mean, he doesn't have any identity in terms of the way he wants his team to press. We used to
Mm,
be good defensively. I don't see that. We were an absolute shambles. We used to be good defensively consistently when we were playing five at the back. Uh,
mm,
I mean, we got a couple of wins. He switches from that. I mean, I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do because I mean, moving forward at home, we do need to be playing four at the back. But and then I mean, you had fans complaining that like Saka was sub. I mean, like, he literally tried everything because Saka got injured, and instead of bringing on an attacking player and
he bought
Martinelli,
on
he noticed
Lukonga.
because he saw that we were getting absolutely destroyed in the midfield yesterday. He
Mm,
thought, okay, I'll add another. I mean, I thought that move made sense. I was like, okay, we have a 1-0 lead. It's not like he's being negative by taking off and like you're starting with five
attacking
attacking
player,
players.
yeah.
You've got to one I mean, you're seeing that you're getting dominated in the midfield. So obviously you try and add some fresh legs in the midfield. And it just didn't like even with two midfielders. I mean, it was so negative. Like I don't like we were getting absolutely dominated. I mean, Partey had an absolute shocker. Kieran Tierney was he was just playing it inwards, and that has to be coming from the manager. Surely the manager's
Right.
telling Tierney, when you get the ball, you take on your man. I don't want you coming in. You've been doing it for 60 minutes. We need a goal now.
Mm,
I want you to like because and even the goals we conceded. I mean, arguably you can argue about like you can talk about VAR all you want about MacArthur potentially seeing red, which is all said and done. I mean, Arteta always has these excuses after the game that he blames it on. I
mm.
mean, he does allude to the performances. I mean, he does say it wasn't good enough, but at the end of the day, man, he's the one orchestrating this team
Two, three
and where is it
years.
going? Where is it
Yeah.
going? Like
Now
two
this
weeks
is
ago, we
what.
would have seen you like we have a style of play against Tottenham. Don't I'm so glad we didn't do an interview after that, or we didn't do this podcast after that, because we waited to see what happened in Brighton, and we could have thought, okay, it's a blip. But then you waited to see what happened at Palace at home, and there's just no urgency. I mean, your captain yesterday was like at first for the first time like in a while, I saw him pressing and putting a shift in,
Mm,
and he was brilliant, Aubameyang, and it had no effect. I mean, when your captain's doing all the pressing and pushing, you expect the rest of the team to rise up. And we had Lacazette coming on; he was motivating the players, but like we don't have players who like Pepe was absolute shite. Oh my god, like
yeah, he was
how he stayed
awful.
on.
He was awful.
Um, it was just so frustrating, man. And this, I mean, it's just a team right now, and an experiment that looks like it's kind of running out of ideas and it's losing steam. And I just don't see what
Two
he can do to
years. So
turn this
how
around.
long? How long has he been at the job? Obviously you went on like I can hear the
Yeah, this
frustration
is
in your
his. He's
voice.
had a half season. He's had a half season where he won the FA Cup. Then he had a
Full
full season
season. This
last
is his
season, and
kind
now
of
this is his second full
full
season.
season, yeah. So 2.5 seasons into it, I don't see where this team is going. There's still no defined style of play. Like you mentioned, right? Patrick Vieira has a style of play. Brighton's coach, right? They under Potter, they have a style of play. Brentford, you can clearly see what they're
Ours is
trying to do.
changing every week. Like ours is changing every week, and it's not even like an intensity thing, because we started the game with intensity yesterday, and it just drained out. I mean, you have to be able to see that your team can maintain that level. Like at least like I said on the last interview, like we don't have spells anymore where we control teams. Palace had spells in that game last night for 10-15 minutes where they just kept winning the ball back. Every time we got the ball, we were being pressed so hard we had to hoof the ball up the
Right.
field, or we give possession away. We never press teams like that. We don't have any spells where we're putting them under pressure for 15-20 minutes where we keep winning the ball back. That literally happened in the last 10 minutes last night when it was 2 and we were losing 2-1, and
Mhm.
Palace took off an attacking player and throw on another centre back and invited the pressure.
I
Um,
strongly believe, see, I strongly believe, man, like intensity comes from a style of play. Like a team of individuals not well coached can't maintain intensity. I can look back at United as well. We are a team of moments, right? We're never intense for 90 minutes. We're never good for 90 minutes. We just can't do it because
yeah, you don't control
you
games.
don't control games because you're not playing as a team. And we're not playing as a team because there's no defined style of play. Like under proper coaching, right? Each player knows what he's supposed to do. You know who triggers the press, who's triggering the
And
press at Arsenal, and why isn't everyone following? Because that plan is not in place,
exactly.
right?
And when I say like, controlling games, it's a very different feeling. I mean, Chelsea and City and Liverpool, when they play games, there will be periods when the opposition have the ball for a few minutes. When I say controlling games, I feel like Chelsea and the Chelsea defense and the City defense and the Liverpool defense, they don't feel like under threat. When
Right.
Arsenal are being attacked, you constantly feel like they don't have it under, like the defenders themselves, they probably don't have that air of confidence about them, thinking that we have this under control. And it's not even like, I mean, the frustrating thing is you see good performances. I mean, you see what the style, you look at the Tottenham game and you say, okay, that could be his style of play if we play like
Mm.
that every week. Intense press, pressing as a team, winning the ball back, and when you get the ball, quick passing.
In
You're
quality
not
on the ball
taking
as well, some quality
exactly. I
passing.
mean,
Yeah.
quality on the ball depends on the players as well, but
Mm.
what you can coach is that your players will move the ball quickly. Your players will play the ball ahead of the
Forward,
play, and
yeah.
like you won't try and slow the game down at every opportunity unless that's what the game calls for. When you're playing at home, you want the intensity to be high. You want your opponents to constantly be second guessing themselves in terms of they don't know what you're going to do in terms of, and that only happens with fast passing and fast movement. I mean, like, and the like that like, and you relate that to intensity. Yes, that's intensity, not off the ball, on the ball intensity. When you have the
Mm.
ball, like how hungry are you to receive the ball again and make that forward run? And
Mm.
it literally looks like there wasn't a time yesterday when Partey had the ball, there was no movement, everyone was on in
They're
their
static.
positions,
Yeah.
no one's coming to the ball. Like there's just no movement, there's no options, and this that has to come from the manager. I mean, there's no,
100%.
it's just there's just nothing left to say, man. I mean, and we're gonna play Villa at home now on
It's
Friday
going to be a
night,
tough
and
game, man. Villa are
it's gonna
playing
be a
well. It's
tough
going to be a
game.
tough game.
And the thing is, we're not gonna play the way we played against Spurs. We're not gonna be able to get ourselves up for a game like if this was Villa in the FA Cup final, maybe we'd get ourselves up for it like the way we did against Spurs.
Mm.
But like he just doesn't have what it takes to get our players up for these regular basic league games, which should
Mm.
be which were always our bread and butter. You know, teams come to the Emirates, slap them up 3-4 nil, send them home.
Mm.
And if
Mm.
you don't play well, but you still come through games with wins. I mean, we
Mm.
used to criticize Wenger for his. I mean, oh my God, how stupid do Arsenal fans look now? I mean, considering what like
But you guys
we
were
didn't
always
sign up
playing well. Yeah, you guys were always playing well, like always near the top four, playing
yeah, there were
well.
always positives. There was always
Yeah.
positives to take from games. I mean, the only like negatives were we couldn't defend. Now, I mean, half the times we don't look like we can attack, or and like against Palace we didn't look like we could defend either. And
Right.
on the days we defend well, we can't score. So like, what's the
Right.
point, man? Like,
I
it's
think
just
United and Arsenal are in a very same place. Obviously, we have a shitty board and bad owners, but I want to talk about the football pitch a little more and what we're seeing on the football pitch. Both these guys, Oli and Arteta, have had plenty of time. They've spent a lot of money. These are their players, right? And the fact that there's no clear style of play, the fact that there's no consistency in the style of play, there's really seems to be no plan half the time. You're going to keep getting results as we're getting. And you don't have to look far away, man. Look at Everton, right? They got Rafa Benitez in, and just watch. They're going to do well all season. They have a far inferior team to both our teams. They will perform well all season because they have a top coach. Look at Liverpool and City. We don't even have to talk about them. They've done
I
well
mean, look
season
at
in,
you don't
season
even
out.
need to look at I mean, just look at basic like I mean when you don't have world class players, you focus a lot more on the basics. Like you look at
Hmm.
David Moyes at West Ham, when you focus more
Right.
on the basics, things tend to get into place. The minute things don't work is when you try and overcomplicate things. And I can only imagine how Arteta must be trying to overcomplicate things. I mean, guy thinks he's fucking mini Pep anyway. Like he's
Right.
probably trying to put in ridiculous pressing plans from the back, plans that will take players years to implement these plans. I mean,
Hmm.
you can't execute these plans on average players. Pep has a fucking the most expensive squad in world football. That's why he can go out there and tell them to do exactly what he wants. I mean, you have to adapt to the squad you have. I mean,
Right.
you
I
can't be
don't think he's
playing,
doing that.
can't
He's
be
not doing that.
expecting things out of your players that like you can't get. I mean, and I mean, these are not bad players, man. Like Aubameyang is not a bad player. Lacazette is not a
Right.
bad player. Pepe, Smith Rowe,
There's
Saka,
plenty of
Odegaard,
quality, man. There's
there is
plenty of
a
quality.
ton of quality in that team, man. There's a
Yeah.
ton of quality in
Thomas
that team
Partey,
now, and just
Lukonga looks good. Your
and
right back
and
looks good.
United, at least with United, you're seeing your attacking players playing well, even though it's in moments. With Arsenal, we're not even really seeing that. I mean, you see what Saka did, like for the national team, and you just see him not being able to replicate it. I mean, you're seeing it once in 4 games. I mean, it's just like these
Hmm.
players also feel like the players are kind of stagnating under Arteta. I mean, these are
Hmm.
quality players, and you're not seeing quality out of any of them, man. You're
Right.
seeing one good game in 4. Like you have to get a man. These are brilliant players. A good manager is going to get more out of them.
More
It's
out of
very
them. Yeah.
simple. If you can't use these players the way, like, I mean, in terms of what they're capable of, like, you should not be managing them. The job is too big for you. The club is way too big for you. And I mean, we can
It's
see
so
right through it
obvious.
now.
Yeah, it's so obvious. I mean, it's been going on for a couple of years now, and I don't think anything's going to change. May go on some small runs here and there, win a few games, but you're going to finish sixth or maybe outside of the top six. Same goes for us. We're not going to be anywhere near the top three because our coach
Yeah.
isn't good enough. It's just As
and
simple as that.
and
It's
honestly, like
frustrating.
it's all about consistency. With I mean, the players also. I mean, I honestly don't have the consistency. I mean, in terms of what the manager expects from them on a weekly basis. I mean, you need to demand a lot more from your players every single week, and he just doesn't demand more from his players, and his players are just getting away with not giving him 100%, and they know they're going to be in the squad next week, so it's fine. We don't have a good enough second team, so
Right,
it's a
right.
mess, man. It's an absolute fucking mess.
All right, man. Hopefully, both of us have better luck on the weekend. We've got a couple of big games coming up, but
Yeah, at
yep.
least you have a midweek game to look forward to.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm looking forward to it, man. I don't expect too much out of it. But anyways, man, I'll talk to you on the weekend. Have a good one.
All right, later.